Listen, if you're grinding away with monthly clients, what I'm about to show you is probably gonna piss you off a little bit. See, while you're managing 67 different clients or a ton of clients just to scrape together 5 to 10 grand a month, there's some coaches quietly banking in 25 to 50K plus per month with just 10 to 20 clients. And I know this because I went from texting clients at midnight about whether sweet potatoes are a carb or not to generating $2 million in 12 months using a model that completely flips everything you've been taught about online coaching. Listen, when I first started, my online fitness business was charging $97 a month for each client. I had no clue what I was doing, and I was like, how the hell is it possible to make 10 grand per month at $100? I would need 100 clients. I would have to go viral, I'd have to go, completely famous, etc. And it wasn't until I hired a coach, and the first thing that he did was told me to charge more money. And I only started at $750 per customer. In this moment, I realized, like, holy crap, $97 a month is not sustainable. It's not gonna work. That one simple lever that he pulled in my business drastically increased the revenue. I made 10 grand in my first 30 days just by charging more money. I didn't change anything. I mean, my content was slightly better, and I only had 500 followers. So it wasn't like a big drastic shift. And this is one of the easiest things you can do to flip your business on its head. I started to understand that the market does not pay for effort. It doesn't pay for sessions. It pays for transformation, okay? It pays for getting the abs, feeling better, etc. And transformation isn't about the session count. It's not about hopping on Zoom with them doing jumping jacks and shit. It's about positioning yourself as the architect of change, not a rep counter. So what we're gonna talk about today is one of the pillars in a model of PT Legends that fitness coaches usually pay me a good amount of money to teach them. And it's gotten trainers like Eli from door-to-door sales, hating his life, and that's a tough job, to just $25,000 a month in only 60 days of implementing these strategies. Only 60 days of starting his fitness coaching business, in fact. And now he's doing 50K a month a few months later. So this model flips everything you think you know on your head. So bear with me, grab a pen, a piece of paper, and pay attention because I'm about to drop some fire for you guys. Firstly, you have to make yourself harder to reach, more exclusive. I know that sounds crazy, but just stick with me here. The coach who tries to serve everyone gets nobody. When you're actually available to everyone, you become valuable to no one. That's how it works. It's like a reverse psychological script, right? But the top coaches in their niche understand that exclusivity creates desire, okay? Being master of all becomes a master of none. And this is why you gotta niche down. So they build a simple system that filters out unserious clients who aren't the perfect fit with the ones who are serious. Not only does this give you better transformations, but it allows for you to confidently charge more money. So it starts with something valuable, right? Give a free guide, a workout plan, or a nutrition calculator. This is what's called a lead magnet, and I'll explain this in a bit more further down the line. But just give something that actually helps people get a result or solves a problem, helps them lose the first 5 pounds, or if nutrition is a problem, give a free calculator, right? But they still got to figure out accountability in workouts. This lead magnet will pull in the right people who are already thinking about transformation but have no clue where to start. It also allows for you to nurture your prospects prior to the call and gain more trust. Right now, we're living in a generation where people are more skeptical than ever. There's more competition than ever, and people want to do their research prior to actually handing over money. And so after the lead magnet, it's going to direct them to an application to work with you. Now, not everyone gets to work with you, and that's okay because you're charging a lot of money, so you don't need a ton of applicants. So just cross that out of working with everyone doing general weight loss. When people fill out these questionnaires about their goals, their struggles, their commitment level, what starts to happen is they're already starting to formulate that change within their mindset. And this does 2 things. First, it shows them you're selective about who you work with. That's an exclusive community or program for people who are unique. Second, it gets them thinking deeply about what they really want in their mind, a psychological shift. Then comes the consultation call after that. So the application form is going to redirect them to schedule a call with you, or you can personally reach out to the ones who are qualified. But here's where it gets interesting. By the time someone gets on the phone with you, they are already sold because they've already consumed your content. They've already filled out your application, and they're mentally committed to making a change. And if you're using our special AI targeting system, which I'm gonna tell you about right now, they are already pre-sold prior to the call. So Google states, it's called the 7-11 rule, I believe, that it takes 7 hours of content consumption across 11 different touch points across 4 different platforms for someone to purchase a high ticket product. Now, the higher the price, the longer it actually is. That sales cycle is what it's called. And so We created something called the invisible funnel. So as soon as someone lands on our landing page, fills out an application form, it force feeds them massive amounts of content, organic content, not like salesy content, like valuable content, transformations, testimonials. And this is created to nurture the leads automatically. And we only spend $2 a day on these ads to force feed people tons of content prior to the call. Not only did this increase our closing percentage by 10%, but it got our show up rates all the way, it was sinking at 30 to 40% and raised it all the way up to 70%, which is insane by using this quote unquote invisible funnel that almost nobody's using. So if you use this in combination with the application and consultation call, people are coming on a call prior, ready to buy. They're not wondering if they need help. They're wondering if you're just the right person to help them, and that's it. You see, the pricing structure is where most coaches mess up, and the simplest, easiest lever that you can pull to increase the revenue of your business. Just think about levers in your business. Which ones are the easiest that will drastically increase your revenue? What most coaches do is they charge monthly, which puts all the focus on cost instead of the actual transformation or result. Instead, our model charges per transformation. We're talking about $2,000 to $3,000 for a complete 12-week program. And this shifts the entire conversation from how much does it cost to what result they will actually get. Drastic mindset shift, total difference in your business. Think about it. When someone invests $2,000 to $3,000 upfront, they're financially invested. They got skin in the game. They're not just buying training sessions or Zoom calls. They're buying a new version of themselves. They show up differently. They perform better. They do the work. They get the results. And not only does this make you more money, but more importantly, you help more people, you impact more lives. Your content is more powerful because you have proof of concept. This model works because it respects both your time and your expertise. You're not chasing payment plans every month and hoping their credit card doesn't decline because you've collected all the money up front. And now it's okay if you don't always do that. You can do 2 pays, 3 pays, split it in half, etc. However, the more people invest, the more committed they are. Because of that, you're not dealing with people who aren't serious, who are wasting your time or texting you about what a carb is. You're working with people who are committed individuals who value what you bring to the table and who are doing the fucking work, which makes your business a lot more enjoyable. And you need fewer clients to make more money, which means you don't need to go viral. You just need a system. Think about it. 10 clients at $2,500 each is $25,000. That's a lot of money, especially if you're grinding your teeth away at the gym making $3,000 to $5,000 a month. The same revenue would require 50 clients paying $500 per month. Which business would you rather have, man? Which one would you rather run? Which one's more sustainable? It's almost like restrictive dieting versus enjoying the foods that you love. It's a business that leads to long-lasting results. So this isn't about being greedy or an asshole that just charges a lot of money for bullshit or just being exclusive just for the sake of it to look cool. It's about creating a sustainable business that delivers real transformations that can actually have proof of concept that you are great at what you do. And when you position yourself as a solution to someone's biggest fitness challenges, prices become secondary to the actual result that you bring in. It becomes irrelevant. It becomes the best investment in their life. If you start implementing this today, I promise you this one single shift will drastically increase your revenue. So create your lead magnet, set up your application, and practice your consultation process. If you need help with the sales call, just comment sales script below and I'll drop our free sales script to help you out. That's made me multiple 7 figures. But you need to stop being the coach who's available to everyone and become the coach who's exclusively that everyone wants to work with, okay? When I first implemented this, listen, it was only $750, which is below the standards of what coaches charge these days. But let me tell you, I literally thought it was illegal. I was like, there's no way I just got paid $1,000 or $750 upfront just for taking a 30-minute call, just by posting content on social media. I only had like 500 or 1,000 followers. Wasn't massive, and in 30 days I made 10 grand of just, the only thing he did was increase your prices. That's all he did. And I was like, holy shit, this is like the bee's knees. This is the best thing ever. But I also thought this must be illegal. But not only that, more importantly than making the money is the impact that I made. My clients showed up differently than the cheap ass clients that I was signing up initially when I started my online fitness business. The results they achieved was mesmerizing. I still remember clients from 6 years ago who've told me amazing things that made me just like, in my heart, feel like a different man. This is what you call purpose and fulfillment, is impacting lives. That's what we're here to do. And the more you charge, the more impact you can make in the world, the more money you have to spend on marketing to acquire new clients. Okay, so now that you know how to get clients, how do you actually fulfill on them? How do you guarantee great results. You see, people do not pay for information when it comes to online fitness coaching. They're paying for the execution, they're paying for the accountability. So I'm gonna give you the exact fulfillment process that makes sure that your clients get spectacular 10 out of 10 results. First thing you're gonna do is use Trainerize. You're gonna have automated daily messages, accountability messages that go out every single day to make sure they're staying on track. Especially the first 7 to 14 days, you need to make this intensive. These aren't casual check-ins where you just ask how their week went. They are step-by-step, intuitive messages that are created to keep them on track. Once a week, what you're gonna do is have a check-in where you collect their weight or maybe their measurements and pictures. Now, psychologically, when you take pictures of yourself and you look like a fat, it almost forces you to want to change because it's like a reality check. You're like, holy shit, I look like number one. Number two is that you're going to actually view it and you're going to create a 15-minute Loom video. Just use Loom, it's for free, to send them feedback based on what went right and what went wrong or what they need to change. And they're also going to fill out a form to ask them how they feel, okay? And then finally, you're going to have once a week check-in calls for like 15 minutes where there's structured calls or transformation sessions where you review the progress, adjust their plan, talk about mindset issues, and solve real problems that are holding them back. Now, between these calls, you might get questions here and there, which you could just answer straight up through, WhatsApp, or a Trainerize allows for you to message your clients. Now, this isn't about being available 24/7. It's about creating clear boundaries while still providing the support that justifies the premium pricing that you're charging, that allows for them to think that this was worth every single penny. You see, the workouts nutrition is bullshit. You're gonna deliver those plans, you're gonna deliver a completely customized program, but people are paying for the execution, they're paying for the result, they're paying for the accountability, the coach to shift their mindset. Weight loss comes down to behavioral change, is being able to actually do the work, because a lot of these people come in with limited mindsets and just don't know how to stay on track. That's like the biggest reason why people fail. You can get workout plans and nutrition plans perfectly tailored for you on ChatGPT or Google for free, or Muscle Magazine. And everybody on social media is posting your workouts where you can get it for free, okay? So first, you're just gonna start with templates to cut the workload in half. So you just have a template you can create for everybody that joins. And then you're gonna duplicate that template through Trainerize, and it's very easy to do. That way there, it's easier to customize it for their schedule. So every customer that came in, I would just duplicate the master plan and make little iterations for that person. So you're building their training system around their schedule, their injuries, their preferences, their food allergies, etc. Now, nutrition is mainly based on macros, right? This is what most coaches do, not restrictive meal plans. If you want a permanent result, you're gonna wanna have something a little bit more flexible while just maintaining that structure to make sure they're in a deficit. So you're gonna track everything through applications like Trainerize. This has everything you need, from macro counting to MyFitnessPal, and you can go in and see those things that they're logging in, their workouts, their nutrition, their daily habits, their sleep patterns. These are all things that impact someone's transformation with weight loss or weight gain. And when you see that someone's fallen off track, you can catch them before they even realize it themselves. It's like, because you're the expert, you can already understand the trends that are gonna happen. And this data drives your weekly strategy calls. It drives your results. And then you can make adjustments in real time. You can solve the problem before it even comes up. But what really separates high ticket coaching from everything else is you're not just a fitness coach, you're delivering a complete transformation framework. This means you have educational modules that drive out week by week. Now, this is what you call activation points. Activation points are simply every time your client hits a new milestone, they get a small result. That could be losing their first 5 pounds, that can be hitting their first piece of cardio, that could be hitting their first target of workouts. Now, between those activation points, there's usually what's called sticking points. And sticking points are simply the points of where your average customer usually struggles. That can be going too long on a calorie deficit, for example, and most people fall off because of that deficit. And so you have a module that prepares their mindset prior to that. So for example, week 1 might cover the mindset shifts, because starting is the hardest part. Your first 7 days in the gym, starting from nothing and never been in a gym, is really the most difficult. And then week 3 can tackle self-sabotaging things, right? Maybe now they lost 10, 15 pounds. They're kind of on a roll, but they feel fatigued. And so a lot of people may start to ultimately lead to binge eating at that point. And so you create an actual mechanism that solves that problem prior to it ever happening, that they consume through your course. Now, week 6 can address maintaining that momentum. So not only are you holding them accountable, but you're teaching them how to think, not just what to do. And when you change the way someone thinks, man, that is a complete lifestyle change. You see, most coaches using this model create what they call a transformational journey with activation points. So 12 weeks of structured content that addresses the mental, emotional, and behavioral aspects of change. And people will pay a lot of money for change, my friend. My client actually Actually, my wife, who was a client, actually hit $100,000 per month in her first 6 months of implementing this. She made 12K her first 30 days. And her average customer retention is 30%. Our client Justin hit 20K a month while working 20 hours a week at his he was working like 40 to 60 hours a week at his job while still hitting 20K a month. The kid just didn't want to stop in-person training, which is fine. A lot of our clients do in-person training alongside of doing online fitness coaching. That's the power of high-ticket coaching. And in fact, he had a really, really unique and difficult offer. He used to help BMX riders perform better. Like kids who were like 16 become like professional athletes in BMX racing, which is pretty damn cool. So if he can do it with that offer, you can too. That's a tough offer to sell, especially because you got to have the parents on the call. Our client Eli went from living, knocking on doors every single day, which is a shitty job for a long time, to hitting 50K months. In his first 60 days, he hit 25K a month. The kid was incredible. So if you want similar results to these people that were in the same position as you just a few months ago, what you need to do is click the link below and we'll show you exactly how it's done. Book a call with my team, a strategy call where we look at exactly where your gaps are and what you need to overcome them. And not just the strategy and tactics, but your mindset, because that's a lot of the problem. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you on the next one.